And without any further delays, let's get right into the meat and potatoes of it here. Now, as is tradition with Highlander Mage, hunters and demon hunters are probably going to give you the roughest time overall, but just keep their optimal plays in mind, do everything you can to make it to the late game, and you should be able to turn those odds around. Our best options for the early game are going to be the Imprisoned Observer, Doomsayer, Zephrys the Great, anything to deal with their potential Bone Chewer Brawler, Battle Mage, maybe a Satyr. We'll just toss everything that's not going to be usable in those first few turns. Looks like we do have the Doomsayer and the Ancient Mysteries right off the bat there, so that's plenty of options. Might not even need the Arcane Breath after all. He's just going for the hero power, so it's a pretty tame early game for us. Now, since he has the coin, I'm thinking the strongest possible play he could do would be a Satyr on 3, and then coining out the hero power to get the board snowballing. So rather than playing the Doomsayer now with an empty board, we'll wait till next turn. That denies him the strongest possible turn 3, and then it's also not all that likely that he'll be able to kill it even with some board presence. He'd have to blow like a double twin slice, or he wouldn't really be able to build the board here and take out the Doomsayer. Looks like he is just going to go face. We didn't play the Ice Barrier earlier because I'd rather take a bit of damage now. It's going to cost 0, so it's not going to make a difference really. And this way, any minions that heal us, like the Carhut Defender, for example, will get its full benefit off. We don't have anything on the board to worry about, so we'll go for that Arcane Intellect. Oh my god, I can't talk. We'll play the Arcane Intellect. We drew into the Imprisoned Observer and the Alexstrasza. So we're probably going to want to get this Observer out as soon as possible to deal with this board. What we'll do is see what we can discover with the Breath first, since we're going to be using it anyway. Frost Nova is better than the Cone of Cold because it hits everything and it's less expensive. And he's going to make it not very easy to get a free power creation off, so we'll just take the easy thing there, freeze the minion with 4 attack, and we have taken 6 damage, so we'll be able to get the full heal off the Carhut Defender. More concerned with that than the Alexstrasza, because they really do explode for damage out of nowhere. It's much easier to time the barrier with the Defender than with the Alex. So, looks like he is going to go for the Glaive-bound Adept. It's a pretty strong play on his part, but with the Frost Nova, we'll just be able to keep everything under control. He won't be able to get through for any more damage. And we can even use the Ray of Frost to bring the Glaive-bound down to deadly range with the Observer effect. Hero power here, like assuming he does have something to give Divine Shield or buff the minion with the 2 health, we'll ping the Satyr because that is the more concerning of those 2 minions there. Don't really want to worry about the snowballing as much as I'm afraid of just the raw stats. So, looks like we are going to get mostly a board wipe here. There's going to be 2 minions left with 1 health. So, rather than tossing out the Bone Wraith, which he would be able to play around, I think what we should do is just use the Frost Nova and a hero power. It's a little bit rough to just use the Frost Nova on 1 minion. But we're drawing into the Solarian there as well, so that's beautiful. We'll be able to sneak a minion out with this. Not exactly missing out on the tempo of the turn. And we're keeping him completely at bay. Looking fairly healthy, like could be a bit better, but against Demon Hunter this is actually pretty nice. Especially with this Carhut Defender and the Alexstrasza in hand. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty happy about having those right now, because that Metamorphosis hits like a truck. We'll go for the Carhut Defender right away, just deny him any possible way of getting a sneaky lethal out here. And then, you never know, he might play like a Kain or Karn, just try and sneak through, bring us down to 5 health or so. And then we just self-Alex, and it should be smooth sailing. He does appear to be going face with everything. Didn't have the Karn. We're just going to take the another 5 damage hit there, left at the 8 health, but he left both Carhut Defenders live. So that is really funny. We'll just self-Alex for the 15, and then we can trade with our minions. All he's going to have left is that 2-2. He still has to get through our 3-1 taunt. If he chooses to do that with his hero power, he'll be down to the 17 health, and then we still have the 12, 13 in board presence for him to worry about. Like, he's going to have to lose most of a turn to you. All he could possibly do here is maybe Skull of Gul'dan to refill the hand once or twice, maybe a really lucky Altruist. With the Deep Freeze, though, I think we'll just be able to take it home. We do have him low enough that if we could have discovered a Fireball, Apex Blast, or a Pyroblast or something, we would have been able to get the lethal. But, I mean, we have him frozen now. We have such a crazy board presence without... Like, he's got the Altruist, but it's not like he's used the Skull of Gul'dan earlier, so I don't think he's really going to have the hand to make it happen. Yep, it's just got that slice for the last card, so looks like that is probably going to be the game. Even if we don't have lethal. I don't really think there's any top decks that would do it for him. Like, Skul'dan would be something, but I'm trying to think of what 3 cards would wipe the board. We'll just play the Reno, play the missiles after to get that little bit of face damage in, keep him frozen with the non-silenced water elemental, and see what he can do here. And that is just beautiful. So yeah, that's pretty much all you gotta do. Just survive their early onslaught, and they can't really keep up with you later on. So, let's keep this party going, see what we got in store for the next match. So, it looks like we are gonna have a rogue this time around. Definitely one of the crazier matchups. I'd say rogues and priests are probably the 2 that are most likely to turn into a wacky game on you. With all the absurd discovers and RNG, like sometimes you're just in for a 40-minute game. So we'll toss the ice barrier, not like we really wanted early on, and everything else is going to be really beautiful for the early game. I like that we got the Solarian. We're probably going to toss that out on 2. Don't really want to go for a wild growth off of Zephyr here. It's not like we have the best late game in hand to really capitalize on the potential mana gain. Plus, with the Solarian and the Imprisoned Observer, like that's going to be a beautiful curve anyway. No need to like toss that away for a wild growth and then not draw into any of our late game or just get unlucky in some way. At least now we can use the Zephyr reactively. And like I said, since this could potentially be one of those 40-minute games, every turn past turn 10 that goes by, if you did go for a wild growth, that's just like missed value. So I'll just get that Imprisoned Observer out, get that Guaranteed Tempo out, and mitigate any kind of crazy board he could get going. The Questing Explorer, or Adventurer, the purple one, that's going to be a bit of an issue, so what we're going to do is we're just going to clear that with the Arcane Breath before it gets out of control at all. Sure, a little rough missing out on discovering a spell, but could be a lot worse. And this way we're still able to hold the Zephyr to use reactively. And he's just getting those invokes out. His minion's going to die to the Observer anyway, so he pretty much has to go face here. He's got 2 lackeys in hand. Looks like he's going to go face with the Kobold lackey, even shadow stepping it. So I'm not sure if he wants that with the Toggle Woggle on turn 6. Playing the Edwin with it, so yeah, I'm thinking that he definitely wants to toss that out with the Toggle Woggle. Just get that guaranteed treasure right away. He could have played it with the Edwin to get that up to a 10-10, but it's I guess he's expecting us to clear it here. I mean, we do have the coin on 5, so it's quite a few options we could have in theory. We don't really want to take 8 damage for no reason, so we'll clear that with the Zephyr. Unfortunately, didn't give us Deadly Shot, so we are going to have 1 free mana. The OCD deep down is going to be a little displeased with that, but we'll just have to make do. And it's going for Invoke number 3 now. So he's going to have an upgraded Galakron fairly soon. Even playing the 0-cost lackey. So, well, I guess now it's, if he wanted to combo it with Toggle Woggle, he would have done it there. He'll just be able to play his 3rd lackey with it next turn if he does draw into it. So, we'll see what we can get off the Arcane Intellect. Okay, drawing into Solarian and the amazing Reno. That's beautiful. Like with late game like this, we'll just toss out a Flame Ward. It does a bit more than just a hero power would have done. I don't think Flame Ward's pretty much our least useful removal option in the deck, so might as well just play it now. Sure, we're missing out on a little bit of value, but like if he did want to play a Toggle Woggle, which it looks like he is doing, he would. Like, it would either take 3 damage for free, or he has to toss out his final lackey to go with it. Now we're able to just toss out the Solarian Prime. Reno would also clear the board, but I feel like the Solarian board's just so much scarier overall. Pretty lucky that we cleared the Wind Fury minion after giving it to him with the Conjure, but I guess that is better than conjuring the Toggle Woggle, so all in all, not too bad. We got a Spellbender out of that, we got a free Conjure's Calling. Pretty healthy. Like, we'll be down to 16, but we even froze him with the Frostbolt, so it's not like he can get us down to 15 with his weapon. And then we do still have the 7/7 for him to worry about. I guess Reno would deal with the board pretty easily here. Gonna bait him into Shadow Stepping, our 1/3. Gotta love it. But yeah, he must have been scared of the counterspell. He just wanted to go for the wands, but at least he's not going to get the double Toggle Woggle. Could have been a little bit more scary. He's not going to be able to deal with the Solarian by the looks of it. So, Reno won't really cut it anymore. We could just go for a Blizzard into Reno instead. I mean, it's got the spell damage, why not? we able to freeze everything. We'll go for a secret here with it, and the Ice Barrier's gonna be exactly what we want. Just keeps us at 24 health opposed to 16. It just feels like a world of difference, especially now that he's gonna have this 5/2 weapon. If he does just want to go face and try and race us down, he's probably gonna regret it. I guess if he has an answer for the Solarian, it doesn't really matter. He'd go face anyway, but quite the evolve. So we got an unlucky Solarian, he got an unlucky evolve. You know, goes around, comes around. Works for me. At least he's able to turn that into a 2/4 with taunt. So that board does only have 9 health, 11 now, but with the Reno, with the hero power, that's pretty clean. Can't see any reason not to go for that. Lets us get through for the 7 face damage. We have a coin, we'll be going into 10, so we wouldn't even have to use it to play the amazing Reno if it does come to that. And, like, I'm thinking if he doesn't do something really terrifying, we could always just go for a turtle, maybe hit that power creation or deep freeze before we draw into it. Especially, it would be, like, incredibly awesome to do that now, since he just played the flick. That's essentially his best option to deal with it. It's just, with the questing purple guy, like, we can't let that live. If we were to go for the deep freeze or the creation here, we wouldn't want the flick to live either, just in case he does bounce it back to his hand somehow. I guess we'll wait another turn. Just get the easy board clear out for now. Won't really have to worry about building the boards. We could have tossed out the Doomsayer, but Reno's still at 4/5. I feel like that should be scary enough. Maybe if he was a little lower, it would have been tempting to throw out like a Doomsayer to bait out the removal. As it stands, though, he probably would have done nothing and let it go off. He thinks my composure is commendable. So he's either out of options or about to do something really scary. Looks like he's just flooding the board with a bunch of low-cost minions. Even drawing a dragon to go with the Malygos, so let's see what it can give. Frost Nova is going to be decent enough. Explosion would have worked too, but at least now we can freeze the whole boards. Thinking we can even conjure the Reno with it, get some crazy value. That is a beautiful conjure if I ever saw one. We got the taunt that buffs taunts in hand. We don't have any at the moment, but that's that Malagos could be a problem. He only has 1 mana, so yeah. Luckily, he didn't have a Sinister Strike and like a Prep Eviscerate in hand. But we're just gonna go ahead and Reno that, get all the face damage off. A little unfortunate to lose those minions, but I mean, we don't want that Malagos to live. A rogue with a Malagos out is just not a fun time. You can go very south very quick, so I'm happy to prevent that. He had a preparation too, so I was kind of joking when I said the prep eviscerate, but looks like it was very possible. It's got a bit of a board going, not too scary. I guess what you'd expect from a bunch of lackeys that don't discover dragons. We got perfect timing with the multi-shot though, so that's going to make the board all the more manageable. We'll go for the Ray of Frost, get the Bone Wraith out, and this should be a pretty good board for the Doomsayer. I mean, he's pretty much completely out of options. He's going to have to blow like whatever he could possibly have left to clear the Doomsayer if he does want to. Finally hitting a Dragon Lackey, so he's not going to be out of steam yet. He does have it. Oh my god. Okay, so he had the prep and the eviscerate in hand. If he was lucky enough to have a Sinister Strike with that, that would have been like he would have earned it. I guess that would have been just too beautiful to deny. But we got an empty board. We'll get that turtle out finally. Beautiful deep freeze. I figure the water elementals are going to be a bit more value here, just because they freeze everything they hit, whereas Power Creation could discover something not so great. That Dragon Lackey definitely did him justice. So let's see what he has. Murazon. Okay, so that's actually really good because it's not going to be able to copy the deep freeze, just the turtle. Oh, he's lucky he has that Kronks. But with any luck, we should be able to kill him. Like, I'm thinking we just face him with everything Frost Nova and do it again. Really nice timing on the Arcane Intellect there off the Reno. So this way we can get the Power Creation out before the Frost Nova if we do it with the Dragon Caster rather than with the Caligos. Basically anything we got there would have like guaranteed that we have the damage to hit him for lethal next turn after like freezing the board and keeping yourself safe. Like, he's used the flick, he's used, like, he would have to Shadow Step the Galakrons, or, sorry, Kronks. There's too many words in my head right now, I'm getting all jumbled. But, it is looking pretty good for us. Looks like he's drawing his final cards here. So if he did have an answer, he's going to be able to play it now. He's got that second Eviscerate, and yeah, looks like we just... All it took was that last little explosion of tempo there with the Dragon Caster, kept everything on lockdown with the Frost Nova, and he just didn't have anything to do with the board. Alright. Well, why stop now? Let's keep this action going here. See what we got on the chopping block for the next match. And we are going to have a warrior. Okay, now earlier... I had said that hunters and demon hunters will give you the hardest time. If it's a bomb warrior, they tend to also give you quite a rough go. It does seem to be a little bit less popular at the moment, so we're going to toss everything here that's not usable in the early game. We really want either the Swamp Ooze or the Zephrys the Great. Just in case he does get that early Wrench Caliber, if he gets 2 bombs in the deck, you're just not going to have a fun time. Like, hopefully he's just aggro, or your typical, I've even seen, like, Pirate Warrior appears to be a thing. But we're just going to pass the turn, no need to blow the coin yet. Probably going to go for that Solarian on 2. He's just going for the armor up, so he's either unlucky aggro or more like control based to miss that turn 2, I'm thinking. We'll get the Solarian out. With any luck, we'll draw it that much earlier, since we're able to play it on turn 2, which is always fun. Dragoncaster in hand. We don't really have anything else to build the pressure, so we're just going to be playing defensive. We should be able to freeze him for days here. Even the Ice Barrier should be quite handy at that. Typical early game. The Ankar doesn't really give away which deck he is. Like, we're pretty much waiting to see if it's a live Wire Lance or Wrench Caliber for the other weapon he's running. We'll just play the Secret. I'd rather get some armor going rather than just spend 4 mana and hero powers to deal with that 1/2. Plus, they no matter what they are, they tend to usually have that, 17 damage, Chromish, Garrosh, something too. Like, I might have been more tempted to hold the Ice Barrier if we had pulled it off in Ancient Mysteries or something, but since we had the mana, and we're not going to be able to play it for free anyway, might as well just clear the board here. We'll use the Frostbolt and Hero Power. Even if we do end up killing that with the 2 Hero Powers, like I said earlier. I feel like gaining the armor overall is going to put us in a bit better of a position, just in case we don't have the mana to sneak it out here. Rusted Raiders, a beautiful play. We really want to get this 110 down in health, because in theory, if he damages that, buffs it, starts making copies of it, it's just not going to be a fun time if the copies are at completely full health. There's the Rampage. I wouldn't be surprised if he clones it as well. And then, could have gone a lot worse. He either doesn't have the clone in hands, or he just wasn't really motivated to blow it on just the 4/8. Something like a 4/13 would have been a lot more tempting. But we're finally going into turn 6. Perfect timing on that Flame Ward, so we'll just use that. We'll use a Ray of Frost rather than the Frost Nova, because I'd rather hold the Frost Nova for a scary board, eat the 3 damage here. And then that's going to take out pretty much everything. He's just going to have a 4/3 remaining, unless he buffs something and then whatever he plays now. But we do have the coin. Going into 8, we'll be able to either play the Power Creation or the Turtle, depending here. Even if we draw a dragon, we could Dragoncaster, Creation, Ray of Frost. It's just good to have options. We appear to have made it to the late game anyway, and we're at 26 health. He's finally playing the live Wire Lance, so it looks like he's not going to be Wrench Caliber. Although by now, I guess that kind of would have been a given with the cards he's playing. But yeah, better safe than sorry. But at least now we can be completely certain that he's not going to toss out a Wrench Caliber. No need to hold on to the Zephyr anymore. Rather than going for a taunt or charge with the Power Creation, we would have to get lucky. We'll just play the Turtle. We still have a Puzzle Box and a Deep Freeze in the deck. We ended up hitting both. And as fun as the Puzzle Box is here, I think the Deep Freeze is going to cut it. There's just essentially no way for it to go wrong. Whichever target it hits is going to be beautiful for us. I'd argue even hitting his face was the best possible option there, because now he's going to have 1 less lackey to work with. Might even have another weapon in hand that he's going to have to wait an extra turn to play. Okay, and he has blown his second Rampage as well. So instead of the 17 damage Wombo combo, it looks like it's only going to be 14 and doable on turn 8 now instead of 10. He's pretty much just going to have the Inner Rages to work with, maybe that 4/3 charge, and then summon a copy of it. But other than that, having both Rampages out of the way is going to be quite nice. Even soaking another Inner Rage there to clear a Water Elemental, looks like he didn't want to miss on the 7 face damage. So we're going to want to clear the Risky Skipper right away. If he does have another Bomb Wrangler, or even with the one on board, we'll just stop him from getting any free value here. I'm thinking we will play the Swamp Ooze. We know we don't have the Wrench Caliber to worry about. And this way, since we weren't able to freeze his face with the Elemental, we don't really have to worry about that damage, unless he spends half his turn playing another weapon. Going to keep the whole board on lockdown with that Frost Nova. Now, I'm thinking with the Ray of Frost and the Water Elemental, whatever he plays, we should be able to keep it on lockdown while we toss out this power creation. Okay, so he is going to summon a copy and play the execute to clear the water elemental. That's a little rough, but at least on the bright side, the copy that he summoned will be frozen an extra turn, because just the way mechanics work, if you copy a frozen minion, you're going to be frozen an extra turn. So we'll go for the power creation. Gyrocopter is actually going to be beautiful here. Eccentric the Scribe could have done it, but the Gyrocopter is going to give us that removal we want. We'll make sure to trade so that we can hopefully clear all these bombs before we go for the freeze. And beautiful. It's not an incredibly big brain, just kill the bombs last, essentially, and hope for the best. But now we got that Fireball in hand. 13 health's a little bit low, but keep in mind he's used, like he's out of options. All he has left to work with is like one Inner Fire, maybe the Gromish Garrosh, the 4th recharge, and summon a copy of it. But we're top decking a Solarian, so like that's pretty amazing if you ask me. Solarian's great card, gets you to the chopper every time, never fails, and even when he does, it's awesome. Okay, speaking of never failing, I'm not too happy about the Conjure. Spellbender and Counterspell, though, that could be pretty huge. We're going to want to see what spell we get. Okay, yeah. We'll use the Mirror Image. That might soak some damage. I mean, he's not going to get through with any spells, so that's better than nothing. And, like, unless he plays the other Execute, that Spellbender might just screw him over when he does go for the Wombo combo. As small as it would be at this point. Looks like he's just going face. Probably won't really want to clear the Solarian. I'm thinking he's going to assume he can race us down in time. So this is beautiful. We're going to want to clear that 1/4 first. The armor's not the biggest difference, but it's not like going face here is going to do us any good either. So might as well. I'll go for the Rolling Fireball. That'll clear essentially everything he has, leave him with just that one minion with 2 health left. Now we don't need the spell damage anymore. We can go for the Conjure, see what random 7 costs we get. That's perfect. Like, there's not many brutal 7 costs in the game, but getting one with Taunt is just gonna be absolutely beautiful. Baiting out the Deathwing. Okay, so it was a short-lived victory. But that's going to be his whole turn. We can just continue to build up this pressure here. Hopefully okay. So yeah, it's just 3 health. But when you can only get through for, say, 12, Alex is going to be exactly what we want. Like, the healing's nice. Every little bit counts. But mainly just this 8/8 in, like, scariness on board that he has to worry about now is going to be really huge. It's just infinitely scarier than the Dragoncaster would have been. Looks like he is just going to try and race us down here. But we do still have that Spellbender, and I'm thinking that, like, he's got an Execute and an Inner Fire that can proc it. He might not even be running 2 Executes. And, like, if we soak that Inner Fire, that's probably going to be game. So, going for the Gromish, and just using it for the 4 damage. We still would have had 1 health, even if he was able to buff it there, but, I mean, I'm perfectly fine being at 7 health opposed to the 1. I'll take what I can get. Might as well clear the minion and get a deep freeze out, I'm thinking. I don't want to leave that minion frozen. Just things can go wrong. Might as well do the guaranteed thing. We have the Observer popping out next turn anyway. There's the Inner Rage. I'm thinking he just wanted to know. Like, I'm assuming that he's been playing around a Spellbender and just had to know before he ended it. That's beautiful. Gotta love it. And that's the way the warrior crumbles something. Man, I gotta come up with some better sayings. That was pretty bad.